Shares of DraftKings rallying today as ARK Invest Cathie Wood loads up. Wood buying another million shares of DraftKings during yesterday's session. The sports betting stock now makes up more than 2.5% of the ARK Innovation ETF. But that fund has been struggling of late. Check out the moves off 52-week highs for the fund's top holdings. Tesla down 21%, Teladoc down 53%, Roku down 28%, Coinbase down 40%, Unity down 29% from its recent high. So are any of these beaten down names worth a second look? Or maybe it's just not the right market environment for an ETF like Cathie Wood's. Dan, what do you think?
Well, it's the right environment because we're seeing all sorts of flows into the really innovative tech. We're seeing a lot of it in the private markets too. And I think Cathie's time horizon, from what I can understand from recent interviews, and she's been on this show plenty, she doesn't have a time. It's not a fast money time horizon, right? So I think that's the really difficult part about it. And when you think about what her vision is for a company like Tesla, in and around $600–700, she's talking thousands of dollars of price targets, right? So you're gonna have to deal with that volatility. I guess the thing that I struggle with this is that, she's probably got the wrong vehicle. Every morning I wake up and I see headlines in the press, Cathie Wood sold 1 million shares of this or that or whatever. That's just because of her rebalancing. So I suspect that she should be really running a hedge fund. Cathie, take the 2 and 20 and take the money that's kind of with you for a long-term time horizon and not have to deal with this mark-to-market on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, Jeff?
Yeah, well, to go back to your question about is this the time, I think Dan hit the nail on the head in terms of time horizon. But if we're thinking about shorter term, and we all think rates are going higher, we're all talking about banks, how we like that trade, probably not great for some of these longer duration stocks, longer dated future cash flows. That's where you're going to see the growth. So I think it could continue to struggle here. But we all have to remember where these stocks came from, their performance last year, and again, that time horizon. So when I think about a stock like DraftKings, I know I'm becoming a little bit of a broken record there, but I think we're in the early innings of all of this in terms of the technology, the way sports is going to be consumed through that betting lens, the legalization. These are all the key trends. And it's not going to happen today, tomorrow, next week, next quarter, maybe even next year. But over time, these are things that are going to play out. And we're seeing it with DraftKings. We're seeing it with Penn. It's this land grab to try to buy companies, get market share, because they know the growth is going to be there. So I think a stock like DraftKings is going to continue to be a big player in that space. I think we might be getting to the point now where it can break above 60 and stay there. So these are long-term plays. No. Do I think right now is a great time for these sorts of companies? No. But if you have the right time horizon, then I think there is a lot of growth in a lot of these names.
It's an interesting point that Dan makes in terms of it not being a fast money sort of investment vehicle, but at the same time, it sort of came of age, became a household word. Cathie Wood gained rock star status because of the quick rise in a lot of these stocks, thanks to the Reddit crowd, which saw this as fast money. I mean, we're talking about the run, for Tesla through its Bitcoin acquisition, Guy. I mean, these are all names that we were talking about because they had incredible runs alongside ARK Invest.
Which, if you asked her, I'm sure that probably upset her. I mean, that sounds somewhat counterintuitive, but to Dan's point, she's not in it for the next 30 minutes. I mean, my sense is she's in most of these things for the next 5 to 10 years. We've had conversations with her about Tesla and to some of the points Dan made about her rebalancing. So I'm sure to a certain extent those moves mortified her. My words, probably not hers. With that said, you have a fascinating sort of push me, pull you right now with Cathie on one side, and Michael Burry, who, by the way, very brilliant investor, admittedly early on a lot of things, obviously making bets against the ARK ETF. So a lot of things going on here. I am with Jeff Mills on this one. I think DraftKings, if you have a horizon of more than, the next 6 minutes, I think DraftKings is really interesting at these levels.
Tim, just quickly, we had a slate of the top holdings in ARK Invest. All have significant percentages off their 52-week highs. Any of them you would scoop up?
Well, one that's interesting to me that I've owned in much bigger size, still hold it, and actually like the chart is Square. You've actually consolidated, 220 to 265. But the story around the Cash App is extraordinary. We've talked about the different elements of where basically Jack Dorsey has tied people onto this platform, and this is a platform that is executing and giving access and leapfrogging technology and moving around the world and doing it. So there's loyalty on the consumer side. There's enormous loyalty on the business side. upside. And this is a fintech play that we also think is showing the way of many, the money center banks that may need to follow. So I like Square here. And I think the longer term story there is, again, they are going to be involved in secular trends and they've proven that they may be early and they're usually right.